In a previous video, I dealt with an armoured clash on the island of Tarawa in August 1943 between US Marine Sherman tanks and the Japanese Type 95 Ha-Go light tank, so do please check that out in the description box below. As the war in the Pacific entered its most bloody stages in 1944-45, the US Marines and Army deployed increasing numbers of Sherman tanks to help the infantry overcome very formidable Japanese defenses on multiple Pacific islands. On Saipan in June 1944, the Sherman had first encountered the Japanese Type 97 Chi-Ha medium tank, which unlike the woeful Type 95 at least had a chance against a Sherman. The Type 97 was an old design dating from 1935 and was a good tank during Japan's war in China, where it faced little serious threat. Upgunned to mount a 47mm gun following a drubbing at the hands of the Soviet Union at Nomonhan in Mongolia in 1939. By 1945, the Type 97 was obsolescent, undergunned, and lacked the heavy frontal armour of the Sherman. However, its 47mm gun was capable of penetrating a Sherman's sides or rear, and Japanese tank commanders began to change their tactics by the time of the US invasion of the Philippines to try and use the Type 97 more effectively. One action in January 1945 showed that the Type 97 could be a dangerous opponent when commanded by experienced soldiers. On the 9th of January 1945, the US 716th Tank Battalion landed on Luzon in support of the 43rd Infantry Division. It saw constant combat during the advance through towns and villages. The Shermans often encountered Type 95 and 97 tanks, operating in small groups, supporting Japanese infantry counterattacks and knocked them out. On the 17th of January, Company A 716th Tank Battalion approached the town of Urdaneta to support a US infantry assault. A Japanese infantry company defended the place, supported by a company of tanks. A platoon of 3 Shermans approached the town as US infantry fought the Japanese on the left flank. Unbeknown to the commanding officer, 3 Type 97s were hidden in a mango grove. Warrant Officer Kojura Wada knew that to engage the Shermans at a distance would be suicidal. Instead, he ordered his tanks to hold their fire until the Shermans were only 35 yards away, and, importantly, to aim for their thinner side armour. The American platoon rumbled on, unaware of Wada's presence. Wada gave the order over the radio, and the 3 Type 97s started slamming 47mm rounds into the flanks of the Shermans. 2 were immediately disabled. The 3rd tank, commanded by Sergeant Schrift, had a track knocked off. Schrift's driver turned the Sherman so that the thicker frontal armour faced the Japanese and opened fire. He knocked out Wada's tank first, but didn't kill the warrant officer. But the fire from the other 2 Type 97s was intense, round after round, bouncing off the Sherman's front and turret. The Sherman's gunner put a round through a 2nd Type 97. Wada ordered Sergeant Suzuki's tank to close the distance, increasing the penetrative power of the 47mm armour-piercing round. Suzuki's tank ground forward, hitting Schrift's tank as he came on, but the Sherman's 75mm gun decided the issue, destroying Suzuki's Type 97. But by Pacific War standards, the duel was successful for the Japanese. Though they had lost 3 Type 97s, Warrant Officer Wada's men had totally destroyed 1 Sherman and disabled 2 more. Sergeant Schrift and his crew received the Silver Star for their gallant actions that day. But it had been a close-run thing for the Americans. Unfortunately for the Japanese, Wada's success was not matched in further encounters with Shermans. The Japanese Type 97s were frittered away in small-scale engagements and Luzon eventually liberated. The Japanese failed to field a tank capable of dealing with Shermans frontally, and their tank divisions remained essentially a sideshow to what was, in the Pacific, an infantryman's war. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and share, and also help support my channel at PayPal and Patreon, details in the description box.